Hi, thanks for tuning in. Today I want to share the top 6 bags that I said no to. And these are all really popular bags from Chanel, Hermes, and Dior. These are all bags that I have physically seen in person and have contemplated adding to my collection, but for various reasons I said no. I thought it would be helpful to share why I decided not to add them into my collection in case it helps you make your decisions as well. So I took down some notes, and so that's what I'll be referencing, but there are 2 bags from Chanel, 2 bags from Hermes, and 2 bags from Dior that I specifically wanted to highlight today. It's also really warm, so I have turned on the fan, and I hope it's not too noisy. It's probably better than the AC, so I just have a little bit of air blowing so that I don't hyperventilate while I film this video. So the first bag that I wanted to touch upon is the Chanel Pearl Mini Flap. This is the satin mini flap that came out with the latest spring-summer collection, Chanel by the Sea, and it is gorgeous. The whole surface is entirely pearls, different shapes, like different size pearls, not different shapes. And the bag is, the structure of the bag is a black satin, and the only bit of leather that I could tell was on the little CC logo where you actually have the turn lock closure on it. So I saw this bag in person twice. Once I saw it as a SA was actually bringing it for one of her clients, and she just let me take a look at it really quickly. And I noticed that it is a mini size, so it's pretty small. And because it's satin, it was soft, but I had about 20 seconds with the handbag. And I was like, okay, maybe if I can find it again, like I would consider adding it to my collection. The second time I saw it, which was actually ready for purchase, was at the Seoul Incheon duty free, the Chanel boutique inside Terminal 2. And I could not believe that it was just out on display. I was like, oh my god, this thing is like so hard to find in the States. I can't believe it's just like here. And so I actually tried it on again. This time I was able to, actually try it on and everything. So I tried it on. It's like a light gold hardware bag, and I think multiple people have mentioned this before. I don't know why the strap length is longer on this mini bag versus some of the other mini bags that I have from them, but it was awkwardly long. It like hit just past my hips, and it seemed so small to be that long, like far away from my body, and I just thought that was awkward. And later I saw that people, adjusted the strap length by putting like a ribbon, like tying it with a ribbon on the inside. But at the time I was like, oh, this is just like a little off-putting. Like I don't know what to do with this length, and I like to wear my mini bags crossbody because it makes it easier to be hands-free. So I was thinking about that, and then I was just handling the bag, and for me personally, I'm interested in adding a satin bag to my collection, like a really soft, just comfortable flat bag to my collection. I'm interested, and I don't mind that slouchiness, but there was something about this bag where it's covered in pearls, and I just felt like the structure was going to sag a lot faster. Like, because of all of the pearls on the surface, I want the bag to maintain its structure, but it's made of satin, and I didn't feel like the satin was gonna hold up and keep the bag looking like it has some structure to it for very long. So all of that together, I was like, oh, and the price point was like over $4 grand for a tiny mini flap, which is fully embellished, so I understand why the price was there, but to me, the whole thing I could not justify. And I was like, I couldn't tell if I liked it having that many pearls either. There's that phobia of like dots, of seeing lots of dots, and like I couldn't tell if it was just me or like sometimes I feel like it invokes that, and I don't really care for that either. So I just decided to pass. I wasn't getting that super yummy feeling when I saw it and tried it on, and I decided, okay, that means this one is not for me. The next popular Chanel bag that I said no to is the Gabrielle Bag. So this came out, I want to say like 2 or 3 years ago now. is the first time the Gabrielle bag was launched, and I feel like it has done really well, and I've seen it, you know, it comes back and it's part of every collection. When it first came out, I thought it was interesting, and I wanted to give it a try, but I feel like the very first colorways it came out in was like just a solid black and gold hardware, and like the beige with the black base. And I wasn't a huge fan of those colors. I mean, if you've seen my collection, you'll know that I tend to go for some funky colors, especially because I lean towards smaller handbags. So I was waiting to find the right like color combination or design or something. And every season they will come out with more of these Gabrielle bags, and I realized they came out with the mini size. And I thought, oh, that's perfect. I love small bags anyway, so I want to check out the mini size. And there was this one time in New York City, I was walking and I saw a lady who had the mini Gabrielle in like a metallic silver, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like that's a really cool kind of funky colorway, but I like the size and it looked really good on her, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go check this out. And I go in the store, and every time I go in the store and I see a Gabrielle bag, it just doesn't like make my heart sing. I just don't get that yummy feeling where I'm like, oh, like, yes, this is the bag that I want to add to my collection. This is the colorway that I think is perfect. Like, I don't get those feelings. And regardless of what colorway it could be something cool. It could be a bicolor, like it could be like a metallic, or like have like logos and like prints on it. I've seen a whole bunch, and at the end of the day, I just don't gravitate towards wanting to add that to my collection. And I think it's because it leans a little too casual for me. Like, depending on the colorway, it could definitely look a little more dressy versus casual, but I think just the style itself, it looks slightly like a hobo bag, right? Like the shape, it's not as slouchy, but I'm not a huge fan of that kind of hobo shape because I feel like it just leans a little too casual. And I like the versatility of being able to dress bags up and down because I think it's helpful to have that kind of versatility. And so I'm just, like, I think that's what it comes down to. I just don't think this bag is going to be as versatile as I would like it to be. And if it's just going to be for casual purpose, then I don't know if I really want to add it to my collection, that kind of a feeling. So, and then another YouTuber that I love and I watch, Sophie Shohet, she mentioned once that she can't buy this bag because the bottom of it looks like a sanitary pad. And like once that association was made, you know, you can't like unthink that. So not that that's a big deal, not that that matters a lot, but like I just thought that was funny. The only size that I was considering was the mini, and I was like, oh, I don't think I really need this kind of a, you know, mostly casual bag, so I said no to the Gabrielle. Moving on to Hermes. The bag I said no to, which it took a lot in me to say no to this bag, is actually the mini Roulis. I think that's how you pronounce it, Roulis. It was in a gorgeous amber yellow color. I saw it last year when I was in Hawaii, so I saw it at the Waikiki boutique, and it was like the new yellow color of the season, and it had gold hardware, and it was a mini size, and it was absolutely gorgeous. So pretty, and because it looks very similar to the Constance, you know, it's also a very popular style, and it's just gorgeous craftsmanship that goes into it, and it's like structured, but it has a lot of compartments. There were a lot of things that were saying yes for this bag, and I ultimately said no, mostly because I wasn't in a place to make that large of a purchase, quite honestly. And eventually I purchased my Picotin 18 in the Magnolia color, which I think was a really great choice for me to make because A, the price point was much lower than the Roulis, and B, I was actually able to enjoy that bag more during the summer. Kind of opposite to the Gabrielle, the Roulis seemed a little too formal for me. It seemed a little too structured. And I wasn't sure, like I could imagine myself wearing that with jeans and a t-shirt kind of outfit, but I didn't know if I felt like I was really going to incorporate it when I wear some other kinds of casual outfits. Like, would I really gravitate towards it, or would I think it's a little too formal? And then when it gets to, okay, it's a bit on the formal side, then would I carry that bag, or would I end up carrying my Birkin? Or do I want to carry one of my Chanel flaps, right? Like, that's the honest thought process I was going through when I was trying to decide whether I wanted to add that handbag to my collection. But ultimately, I said no to it because at the end of the day, I really wanted to add either a Birkin 25 or a Constance to my collection. And given those were the goals that I set for myself, who knows when they'll be achieved, but you know, that was something that I was looking forward to. I decided that wasn't the right time for me to add a bag that was going to cost a lot and could hold me back from realizing some of my bigger goals that I have. So as beautiful as it was, and I tell you, I went to the store like 2 or 3 days in a row, and I saw it one of the earlier times, and they had 2 colors. They had a yellow one and a white one. And by the next time I went to the store to get my Picotin, the white one was sold. So it's popular. It was popular. Even the SA was helping me, was telling me that it was popular, and I knew that. And I knew, you know, I might not run across another Roulis that's in a color that I want to add, but at the end of the day, I was like, I don't think this is the right choice to make right now, and I'm very, very happy with the Picotin that I added to my collection. So I said no to the Hermes Roulis Mini. The next bag from Hermes that I have contemplated over several years is the Garden Party in the smallest size, the TPM size. The Garden Party is interesting. So it's like an entry-level handbag for Hermes, right? I consider like the Garden Party, the Picotin, the Evelyn's to be more of the entry-level handbags for Hermes. And so I had always thought about adding a Garden Party, and the thought was especially strong before I added the Picotin to my collection. But every time I went multiple times and I saw different models. So the 2 main styles that I looked at was, one was canvas with a pop of color up the piping and the handles, and then another one is a full leather in a pop of color. Every time I would just go and see the bags, and I would hold them against me, and I try to figure out, you know, is this something that's good to add to my collection? Will I use it a lot? And you know, will it be a great addition? And I would always walk away not sure. And I think it's because the silhouette of that bag is very casual. And it is a top handle only bag, and I am not the biggest fan of top handle only bags. I do have a couple, and I'm realizing that I like them a lot more than I thought. But for the Garden Party, just given its shape, it's like tote-like shape, I feel like it leans itself to seem very casual. Especially the canvas versions run a lot more casual. And at that point, I was just looking at the bag and I'm like, you know, this is great. It would look really cute like on a picnic or on like a day out, but you know, am I really going to use this bag? If I'm really going for an ultra casual look, I tend to gravitate towards like canvas bags, totes that you just like sling over your shoulder. And I'm like, I can't sling this over my shoulder. So like, okay, let's imagine I'm going to a picnic and I have this bag with me. I'm still gonna like be conscientious of this bag with me, right? I'm not gonna like throw it on the grass and just like, you know, I mean, if you can, more power to you, that's totally fine if you want to, but I probably wouldn't do that. And so then I was like, how many occasions am I really gonna take? How many picnics do I go to in a year, let's be honest? And then like, how many other occasions can I really take this bag? And it ends up being like not so many. So ultimately, I decided to pass. Even when I was purchasing the Picotin, I looked at a couple of Garden Parties in the smallest size. There was one in this gorgeous, gorgeous blue. It was like a slightly teal blue. so pretty. I thought about it, but at the end of the day, I actually think the Picotin was a better choice for me in the smallest size. Again, the Picotin in a larger size I think can be a little overwhelming of a bag, but in the smallest size for me that worked really well. That pop of color for me being pink was, I think, perfect. So I keep talking about my Picotin, so I thought it would just be easier to share what it looks like if you haven't seen my Picotin before. This is the Picotin 18 that I picked up in Hawaii, and what I meant by, you know, this versus the garden party, I think because it gets cinched in here and it helps to have this kind of twilly, I think this bag ends up, you know, having a bit of a casual shape to it, but it is still something that has a little extra like oomph, right? And I can really only say that for the TPM size. The larger models to me look a little overwhelming, and sometimes they are starting to lean more towards like looks like a hobo bag, and I'm not a huge fan of that style handbag. But this one in this smaller size, at least, it like has these like winged out section, and so it just, you know, it's really cute. It's small. I can carry it casually. Like, it looks good with this outfit today, but I can also dress it up if I need to and add a pop of color. Also, I know that there's some people who put straps on each one of these ends to like carry the bag like this as like a shoulder bag or like a slight messenger style. I haven't tried that yet because I don't have a strap that I can try it with, but I am hopeful to be able to give that a try and see. But this bag, I feel like it just has a little more versatility to it, where I can try different styles, I can cinch it in, I can leave it open, like, and it gives it a different shape and a different feel. But the garden party just has that tote feel to it and isn't as versatile. So that's why I said no to the Hermes garden party. Moving on to Dior. I feel like Dior has recently come out with a lot of bags, and they have very, very strong social media campaigns and marketing campaigns that couple it. And because of that, I feel like you see certain bags like a lot. And one of those bags is the saddle bag. And when that bag made a comeback, I want to say it was last year it was launched, I feel like it went like wild. Like, everybody seemed to have it, everybody was carrying it, and it started out with the iconic monogram, and now they have a whole bunch of colors and sizes and all of this stuff. And I've seen the bag in multiple colors and different sizes, and I just don't, I think I just don't like the bag, to be really like straightforward. It is a saddle bag, and I know it's inspired from the actual saddles and things like that. So I can clearly see the connection and the inspiration, but at the end of the day, I just don't think I like that shape of a bag. I think it's somewhat awkward to carry, and like the smaller sizes don't seem to fit too much in them. So I just don't get along with that bag personally. I think it's beautiful to look at, but I just don't see how I'll really be able to incorporate that into my closet, into my style, and like be carrying it a lot in a way that I like, you know, can dress it up and dress it down and like take it to brunch and for dinner. Like, I just don't see that bag being that versatile across all of those occasions. So yeah, the saddle bag is a no for me. And the last bag that I want to talk about is the Dior library tote, or the book tote. I always forget what it's called, but it's that large paperback style tote in the classic oblique monogram, and now they've come out with like the embossed monograms and all these crazy patterns and everything. I like the bag. That also, I feel like, had a very strong social media push. So you saw that bag with a lot of people, and I like the shape of it, and I like the very, what's the word, like the casualness and the very like model off duty like nonchalant, like I don't really care kind of vibe that it gives to any kind of outfit. I like the bag, but every time I look at it too, I think it's because it's so stiff. it seems to be a very, very structured and rigid bag, which for the most part, I'm a fan of. I typically gravitate towards structured handbags anyway. But for this bag, I think because it's like a tote and, you know, I see it as being something you carry a lot of stuff in, I think that rigidity just takes away from the bag a bit. Also, it's like a really, really open tote style on the top. And right now I can't remember if there actually is any kind of closure or not. But again, it's only a top handle. There's no like strap that I know of. And I'm not sure there's really a closure. So it's really like just to open like box, right? And I was like, oh, I don't know if I really want to spend that much money on a canvas tote that's open and large and very, very structured, and I don't have a shoulder strap for it, and it's just like, you know, I don't know. And I kind of feel like the bag looks heavier than it actually is. As alternatives to that bag, I actually have a couple to share, and I think it's just fun to see some eye candy, right? So I shared a previous haul where I explained that I got this bag, which is actually from the men's line. And this was like part of Kim Jones's very first collection. It's called like the Voyage shopper tote, and it has like the Alex style buckle, which I thought was really cool. But you can see it has it has the same iconic monogram, the oblique monogram, and it has larger, like taller straps, so I can actually sling this over my arm if I want to. You can hear all the stuffing inside. And then it also has a shoulder strap if you want to use the shoulder strap. And there's also like a magnetic closure in here, so it keeps your stuff, you know, relatively contained. And I just felt like this bag had more versatility for me, like, and I really wanted to use it for like travel purposes, so this seemed like it was a really great size to do that. It's not as rigid, but really, like, for me the biggest things were like these handles here make it easier for me to carry because I can carry it on my shoulder and I can carry it in my hand. And then this strap, which for me is a little too long for me to carry this bag like messenger style on my body, but if I need to like fling this over so that I can carry some other stuff, like I can. I have the option to do that. The woman's like library tote does not afford me the same options. So that's why I actually purchased this one instead. But if you're really into that like paper bag style, right? Like this is also a tote that I carry for traveling. And this is old, so you probably have to find it like on secondhand reseller markets. But this is like the Comme des Garcons like paper bag. It's very, very similar style, right? There's no closure. It's that paper bag style, like it's just like a rectangular tote. It only has a top handle, but this bag is soft, right? And it has a PVC cover, so it's not like the paper bag's literally gonna melt away in the rain. But like it's soft, and so you can stuff it with a lot of things, but like it doesn't like weigh down the whole bag with its structure, and it's just like, I feel like this is so much more carefree and just easy to use. I mean, I typically carry like a card wallet, a little makeup pouch, and like sunglasses, right? So that's what I typically carry. So that bag is like such overkill, and I feel like I wouldn't want to carry it around that empty. But this one, because it's like so light and so just like flexible, like I can throw those things in there and then just have the extra space if I know I'm going to need it later. So that's everything. Those are the 6 very popular bags that I personally said no to, and I decided not to add those to my collection. If there are any really popular handbags that you have said no to, then please let me know down below. I'd be very curious to see, you know, what kind of handbags just didn't make it to your collection. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below or head on over to Instagram, and I'd be happy to help however I can. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate all of your feedback and support. If you like this kind of content, I post videos every Sunday, so if you'd like to be one of the first to know, feel free to subscribe. So until next time, bye!